So this is going to be a short one because it's basically just going to be a few pieces of advice about Strahds animated armor, which is something that I really like the idea of. Strahds animated armor, I believe, just shows up in Castle Ravenloft, pretty much. It's an encounter within there. I think it's kind of like overlooking everything. I imagine that this armor was once worn by Strahd and then, you know, isn't anymore. It is actually. Strahd wore into battle. Lives on today as a headless animated suit of plate armor. It's pretty cool. So I'll talk about its stats first, so that we kind of know what we're doing here. Basically, it kind of works as a regular animated armor where it has the anti-magic susceptibility, where it's just incapacitated in an anti-magic field, and if dispelled, it goes unconscious for a minute. But it is indistinguishable from a normal suit of armor when it is not moving. It has 21 AC, which makes sense. This tells me that it's in essence +3 plate that Strahd doesn't wear because he can get more initiative, which I think is great. It has a buttload of hit points, 112, 30-foot movement speed, bunch of damage resistances and immunities, as well as conditional immunities, and yeah, all sorts of stuff going on with him. Can either do 2 greatsword attacks that are dealing an average of 13 damage on a hit, or do 2 ranged attacks, which are doing an average of 10 damage a hit. So yeah, it is not the biggest damager, but holy crap is it a great defender. It can live for so long, unless it's subjected to various area of effects. In any case, that's not the reason I'm here. I did want to tell you about that, but just so that we can kind of build up to what I want to talk about here. So, Strahd's animated armor has an AC of 21, which again implies that it is +3 plate. This is an idea that was thrown to me by my mate Nate. Hi there, Nate, if you're watching. I don't know, you might not be. In any case, he had proposed the idea, and I'm not sure if it was him or someone else, but probably him, that Strahd's animated armor was just kind of lying around in a dungeon somewhere. Maybe a good place to plant it would be somewhere in Vallaki, or maybe in the Amber Temple as kind of an extra reward thing beyond just you get dark pacts and the treasury in there. And it was completely inanimate and like displayed on a lovely pedestal and made to seem like it was the treasure. Or at least I'm making it up as I go along here. This isn't exactly how Nate did it or was gonna do it or whatever, but this is kind of how I'm picturing it in my mind. And it, through some way, could be hidden through a numerous amount of ways, but is hidden from any sort of effect that would discern it is an animated suit of armor. Perhaps an amulet of proof against detection and location, if that would work on a piece of armor, or some like a permanent spell effect that Strahd's perhaps casted on it that makes it immune to any sort of divination that would detect if it was an animated suit of armor. And upon someone using the identify spell or someone putting it on, they would realize it is +3 plate armor. They're going to want this. And then they wear it for a while and they're like, oh hell yeah, I've got this, it's great. And then they head off to fight Strahd, and now the animated armor is controlling them. When they run into the boss room, they've had a round of combat, and then suddenly, oh, whoa, and now they're stuck in there and they can't get out unless they spend 10 minutes doffing the armor. I think that that's a pretty interesting idea. I don't know why Nate thought of it, but I love it and I want to use it next time. Because it changes plans instantly. Players are going to burst into the room with all this prep and they're going to feel great, and then suddenly, oh, the fighter with the sun sword has just turned on us and has put the sun sword away, which is very bad. And granted, they'd still be piloting it, so they could perhaps make checks to try and like attack it from within or something if they try to, perhaps push against the armor. That only has 17 strength, so they could wrestle with it and try and get some stabs in on the armor but risk hitting themselves. And yeah, I think that's kind of a neat concept that could maybe add a little bit of extra stuff to your game. I didn't want to talk about like too many heavy hitting stuff today because I'll admit it, I haven't really looked into too much stuff, and I feel like if I were to make a video on the things that have been requested of me, which is the Amber Temple and the like the Wizard of Wines, I'd need more experience in it, because in my experience, they're the 2 places that my party have mostly avoided. They went through the Wizard of Wines winery kind of normally, but they didn't really snoop around it too much, and they hadn't properly approached it. They went there, the first time a party member died, they ran, they came back, and then the scarecrows had happened already, so it was like, well, shit. So yeah, that's the most experience I have with it. Apologies. I'll look into it for next week though, one of the two. In any case, hopefully you found this video helpful on Strahds animated armor. Thank you, Nate, for the idea. I got a free video out of this. If you liked it, like and subscribe and click the bell so that you know when we upload next. Comment your opinions. Was this video worth it? And join our Discord where you can talk about how short and annoying this video was. Thank you for watching. Bye. Is it rolling? Mm-hmm. Is it hating? Trying to catch me riding dirty?